Hey everybody, welcome to Stahls TV, Facebook Live edition. We're excited today. We've got a great topic to talk about. We're talking about SimStitch. But before we get too far into it, make sure that you chat in. Let us know that you're here. Let us know where you're from. And any questions during the broadcast or during the class, just throw them out there, or even just comments is good. The lovely Taylor will convey those to me because I can't see that little text. But today, SimStitch. We're going to spend a little bit of time talking about SimStitch. It's a product that's really gaining popularity. It's not brand new, but it's really getting more and more popular daily with more shops around the country. It's just growing and growing. So what is SimStitch? To understand SimStitch, you first of all have to understand applique. So applique it's a polyester tackle twill. It's the same type of fabric that is sewn onto professional sports jerseys, for example. It's used in high-end collegiate fleece wear. It's used in Greek gear, a lot of fan wear, those type of things. Usually it's utilized when you don't want to, when you've got a whole lot of big design and you're using an embroidery machine and you don't want to use all those stitches. So you will cut the fabric and then sew around the perimeter of that fabric with a zigzag stitch. And that's pretty much what applique is. So it's actually saving you time and money doing the actual applique. Now, because it does need to be sewn. That type of applique does need to be sewn to be a permanent application because the edges can fray and it's going to pick up, obviously, because it's not a permanent type adhesive on the back of that type of twill. Now, SimStitch is the same polyester twill, but it's laser cut around the perimeter, around the outside. So it's actually cut the twill with a laser and not with a knife cutter. That helps sear the edges so it doesn't fray in the wash. It's also coated with a permanent adhesive on the back side. And we've got some examples here, just some letters, just this typical letter which we're going to use here in a little bit. You can't see that on my black, over my black shirt. But the edges are etched with the laser cutter so that you end up seeing, I don't know if she can get it tight on that or not. I'll give you a white background to see it on. There you go. And what it looks like, it gives you that kind of a jagged edge on the outside and also the kind of a zigzag stitch etched inside. We'll get a little bit better view of one that actually shows up better with the lighting. Black is not the best one to show up here. But the end result is that it looks like it has been zigzag sewn. All you need is a heat press to apply this. All right, so once it's pressed, it's there for life. It's because it's a permanent adhesive and it's wash friendly. There's no fraying because again the edges are seared. So it's a very, very permanent application and it's to give you a real high-end look. So how does it come? You can get letters and numbers just like we showed here, just like you would normally order what we call them pre-cuts, whether they be thermofilm or regular, any of the other types of films that we offer, but we do offer them in the SimStitch in the letters and individual numbers. You can also, now I do like this, let me back up a little bit. I like having these types of maybe 2 or 3 inch letters in maybe ProBlock font in 2 or 3 inches in your shop. You use that for like on-site quick turn personalization. Somebody comes in, I need a name on the back of my jersey, I want it to be a little high end because everything else is high end. You've got that option to be able to turn those around very quickly. Secondly, any word, any way. That's another service that Stahls offers. That's usually for the front word marks of a sports jersey. You can get that in SimStitch as well in both 1 and 2 colors. So those are options for you as well. They can, they also now, and this is great, they also come pre-aligned. So in the past, sometimes you get this word, like the word angels that we're going to apply here shortly. You used to get just the A through S individually. Now you can get them already I might have a sample of something around here someplace. Here we go. This is not individual, but this would be, this one's pre-aligned. Now they're connected, but if you pick this up by itself and try to lay it down, you'd be chasing it around like limp spaghetti. So this is a nice feature to keep everything on a carrier so that I'm ready to just lay this onto the shirt and apply. Individual letters and numbers would come like this: foreground, background. If you're ordering just single color, make sure you order foreground. Otherwise, you'll look like little chubby snowmen for your 8s and stuff like this. So you always want to have the foreground as the original font. The background is contoured outside, so it made it a little bit bigger. Word mark again, example of a two-color through your any word, anyway. Again, foreground here, that could stand alone just perfectly on its own. Or if you want to do a two-color application, then here would be the background. And you put them together, one layer at a time. We're going to demonstrate that here very, very shortly as to how you would actually apply this. And there's some tricks and tips on that as to how to save time and make it more effective. Get that off to the side. So any word, anyway, pre-aligned, awesome time saver for you. Makes it actually a little more foolproof as well. And also, sublimated SimStitch is available in the Any Word, Anyway program. Sublimated SimStitch is just what it sounds like. You can now apply full color type of imaging inside. I've got a small example here that I put together in this animal print. Let's see if you can get inside of that one. There you go. So this is sublimated SimStitch in the Any Word, Anyway program. So that's another option for you through SimStitch. What are the benefits of SimStitch? Number one, you have the ability to offer a high-end applique look without a big investment of an embroidery machine. Those of you who either have an embroidery machine or have priced out an embroidery machine know that this is a big investment. So in order to get a high-end type of look, you either have to make that, you take that hit and invest in that a little more complicated type of process and a big investment, or you have to farm it out. You have to contract someone else to do it, and they're making more money than you are, more than likely. So secondly, even if you have an embroidery machine, you can offer budget options for a similar type of look. So just like this, for example, this is a classic look of a name number in full applique. I could now reproduce this. Now this is actually sewn. If I go inside, you'll see that there's stitches all the way through the jersey. But you can offer this same type of look at a more affordable price. And in a little while, we'll get a good comparison there as to how much savings there is and how much time saving there is using SimStitch in lieu of the classic applique. So you can offer the same type of look without devaluing your higher end embroidery. So you can offer basically options for folks. I can't afford that, I want that look, but yet we can, well, how about this SimStitch? How's that look for you? Most people are going to go for that if they're on a budget. No need to outsource embroidery for sports uniforms. All you need is a heat press. So basically we're keeping it in-house. So SimStitch gives you that option, that capability of not losing a customer, because next thing you know, if they say, well, who does your embroidery? Well, I send it out to so-and-so, and then they're going to them for their for all their work to be done. And we don't want that to happen. You can also offer customers options for authentic uniform, even if they're on a budget. So I like it for, hockey is traditionally a sewn type of sport for sure. Most of the professionals, even on the lower levels, you got to see a hockey jersey sewn. They're sweaters or hockey jerseys. So it's a great option for budget hockey, single color. You still get that high-end type of look or that more professional type of look without spending a fortune on it. Also, difficult areas. There's a lot of things that can't be hooped very well, or you have to have a very specialized hoop, like legs and sleeve. Because we have heat press options now with all sorts of optional platens, we can now apply some of these applique looks onto some difficult areas utilizing the optional platens on a heat press, because again, all we're doing is pressing it. You can also create one-of-a-kind looks with special effects, multimedia effects. Here's an example under here. Get this one out. Now this was SimStitch. Again, we're doing numbers, but this is a SimStitch background, but then we used this white glitter flake on top of it. Now if you can get a good view of that, if it shows up well on camera. But again, you can mix it up a little bit. This type of look doesn't necessarily have to be for, this would be more of a fan jersey type of thing. Also more for your fan wear. It doesn't necessarily have to be names and numbers. It can just be even Greek wear. This is a great option for you. So special effects utilizing the SimStitch. I talked about saving time and money using SimStitch is in lieu of traditional applique. We've got a graphic that I'm going to have Taylor pick up for us here now. And you can see here's below is a cost example showing the difference between embroidery and SimStitch for a player name. Each example is for a one-color name made of 7 3-inch letters in Pro Block style. As you can see in the embroidery for the classic applique, your cost was $8.75. So you can see all the details within there. It took 4 to 5 minutes for the hooping, alignment, the zigzag stitching, and that's probably, I think that's actually conservative when you put it all together. When you look to the right side, the SimStitch, for the same name and the same type of look, the cost was $3.15, or basically 45 cents per letter. The time there took 57 seconds. So the 20-second application, 37 seconds to align and mask is how they came up with that. So there is a perfect example of how utilizing the SimStitch is going to give you time savings and cost savings, and in many cases you can charge a little more for this higher end look without having to ever thread a needle, and that's the beauty of SimStitch. So let's see how we can do it. Let me demonstrate first of all. We talked about these individual letters coming to you like this. So yeah, you have to lay these out. A couple ways to do it. You could lay them just across the jersey and try to get them all lined up perfectly right on the jersey, which is not a bad thing. Or you can utilize this transfer layout tool, this Stahls layout guide that we have here. And I'm going to take this over to the heat press, not because we're going to press it there, but because it's a good way to get the GoPro so you can get a good view on it. So let me step over there real quick. And we will demonstrate how that works. Now I have the name Young and all over the place here. We want to do an arch. Now on this particular layout guide, there's a lot of measurement, like a ruler up below here. Also many arches, which is what I like the best thing about this. It's just grids every which way, about an inch grid all over the place. So you can utilize it any way that you want. I like this specifically when I'm doing an arch type of name. So I'm going to take the word Young. There's no reflection on me because I'm not young. Good news with this one, you has 5 letters, so I actually started in the center just to keep me on track. The radius is the same no matter where you put it, but it just helps me visualize a little bit better. So we're just going to keep the bottom of the letters right onto this, in this case, the green arch. And then trying to maintain the same spacing, just about, in this case, just about 1/4 of an inch at the closest point. So obviously they're on an arc, so they're going to be different no matter where you go, but at the closest point you want to keep the same spacing. Fingers shake like an old guy. There we go. And then the Y. Now this is where kerning would come in. You see it's actually closer at the top here than the other ones because of the shape of that Y. So if I kept the distance down here the same, then they would be touching. So the closest point typically is where you would try to do that. I usually do a little faster than this, but I'm trying to explain as we go. Now what also comes with this layout guide is this mask that you see here in strips. It's a high tack mask that's going to be able to lift this up. So once we've got this design where we want it, we would actually utilize this mask to pick it up with and just drop it right on top of it. I don't think you really need much of a squeegee there either because it is a very high-tech mask. And I will tell you that I have used this particular piece of mask probably several times. It's reusable and reusable. So if I'm ready to put this onto a shirt right now, I'll just lay it down and press it and peel it. In this case, we're going to do the whole team. If we were doing a whole team like that, I would just lay this back down on top of the carrier that the mask came on just to keep it from sticking to everything. This particular layout guide is self-adhesive. It's removable and repositionable, so this actually is tacky. It's designed to actually go on top of a hard surface, and usually you'll probably have just a layout area. It'll be just mounted there permanently, but if you decide you want to move it, you're able to do that. So that is how you would lay out an arch name using SimStitch. It's a great way to take advantage of really a professional type of layout. All right, I'm going to slide that off to the side. The next thing we're going to talk about is how to do a full jersey. Well, we don't do a full jersey. We're going to do a team name and a back number. Before I do that, let's talk about the application instructions for SimStitch. I don't have to worry too much about it because I can actually go to my Fusion IQ and pick up SimStitch on the controller, and it'll tell me exactly what the application is. But it's 350 for 20 seconds for a single layer. Now, if you're doing 2 layers, there's a couple ways to do that. One, you could press 20 seconds onto the jersey for the background, in this case the white section portion of the 8, and then I could lay the number 8 blue on top of that and apply that again for another 20 seconds. So I know that we've got a good application for both. A shortcut is to take all your components that you can fit on a heat press and pre-press them. I can press this for like say 10 seconds just to get them basically tacked together, and then take the pre-press, this one's already been pre-pressed, take this and lay this onto the shirt and apply it for 30 seconds because we have a little extra time to get through that, add the extra 10 seconds to get through both layers of the twill. So I like doing it pre-assembling. That way I'm making sure that it's a very flat, even surface. I'm making sure that everything is lined up properly when I'm applying it, and then apply the pre-assembled designs onto the shirt. So we'll go back to the GoPro here because I'm going to go ahead and lay these out. Now I have put down a reusable nonstick sheet here because you'll see why, because we're going to put this adhesive side is going to be down. We're going to be applying some temperature to that, so I don't want that to stick to anything. And I also want to be able to pick it up and go let it cool before I pull it off. So I'm going to go ahead and take this number 8. And I'm not sure if everybody's aware, but especially with the number 8, there is a top and a bottom on a lot of fonts, so you always want the heavier or the bigger side to be on the bottom. So this is a little larger than this one in this particular Tiffany font. So I'm going to keep that on the bottom when I'm applying this. Sometimes we learn the hard way that our 8s are upside down, then we have to rework things, and that's not a good thing. These came to me just like you see. This one's going to end up going on top of the, directly to the shirt because I haven't, not able to release it off of this carry because it is pre-spaced. We'll go ahead and cover this with a cover sheet. Now again, if I were doing a whole team, I would put as many numbers on here that I could from the beginning. It's really going to save me some time when it comes to the actual application because I'm getting my pre-pressing done from the beginning. I am set up for, right now, it's supposed to give me a preheat. Well, we're actually pre-assembling, so I'm going to set this for 10. So I go to my 5 seconds here and bump it up to about 10. There we go. You could also use this in attack mode. When I say attack mode, there's a version or a mode on that machine where you can actually just hold down, it will stay engaged for the whole time that you're holding the buttons down if you don't want to go back and forth and change the times, etc. That may make more sense. So this I'm going to pull off and let it cool just a little bit. Not going to stick to anything. That adhesive is still intact that's underneath. So I'm going to lay this off to the side while I lay out my jersey. We'll go ahead and do that front team name. In this case, it's the Angels. This is on a 2-button Henley from New Era. Slide it all the way into the shoulders. Make sure that we're straight. I've got some extra seams and things in here that I want to get off the press, but actually help utilize those to make sure that it's straight, so I have the same margin. And just go ahead and pull straight back until I get that placket just off, because that would cause a little bit of an issue there. Or you could actually use a pillow if necessary, but no need to in this case. As soon as I locate my bottom, go ahead and apply. Now this came to me pre-attached. Because of the nature of the gap outline, they tend to run together, which is okay. I like them somewhat connected. It helps keep things in order. So I'm raising this up about as close as I can, usually about a ½ inch or so away from that lower placket there. If those are too big, they can get a little bit too low for you. Go ahead and press it for the full 20. 350 degrees, 60 psi or medium to firm pressure, 20 seconds. And that will peel hot because it is a tacky mask. Now the cool thing is the top layer of this is pre-spaced and pre-aligned, and it should line up nicely. So it's going to save me all that time of individual letter laying out. So I just get out of your way so you can see what I'm doing. Now you're starting to really see it look like it's been stitched, because you can really see those jagged edges or the serrated edges that duplicates stitching. Go ahead and cover this time. I probably should have covered the first time, mostly just for protection of the garment and the platen. Step to the second application, which is 20 seconds, and press again. Now when we get to the back number, because I've already pre-laid that out and it's pre-spaced and ready to not pre-spaced but pre-aligned, I'm just going to lay it on, cover it, and press it for a full 30 seconds. That is an awesome look. Go ahead and just slide this around to the back. I don't really need to even take it off of the press. Put down. Now, I'm going to allow for a name. I'm not applying one here today, nor did this customer want a name right now, but down the road they may have wanted to, so we'll leave enough space on there as we apply this number 8. You know, avoid this because that's just too high for a number to start with. So we'll pull it down here as if we were going to allow for a 2.5 to 3 inch name up here. So in this case, without the use of a laser alignment system, I'm going to line up that 8. I got my fat part on the bottom, which is proper for the number 8. And now I'm going to cheat the system here when it comes to the application, because it says 20, and I'm going to bump it up to about 30, which I've done already right there. Love the Fusion IQ now. That used to take me a lot longer to peck through that and raise it up a degree at a time. Now I can use that slide bar up on the top status bar and get to that 30 seconds. Do we miss any questions yet? Still good. All right. End result. Let's take a quick look. Front name, Angels, awesome look. Sorry, I hold things up crooked. It makes my design look crooked every time I pick it up. And then of course the number 8 on the back as well. So it's a great look, gives you the real high-end type of look, like it's applique, looks like it's been stitched. All I had was a heat press, and that's all I need. And now I can perform or offer to my customers a much high-end look that normally you would have to have a big investment for. Slide back to home base. So those are pretty much the what you can do with SimStitch. There's a lot more out there. There is also a custom option for you under the Any Word Anyway program. So it doesn't have to be our stock numbers and letters. You can come up with your own artwork, and we're able to produce that for you as well using the same type of process. Again, no investment as far as an embroidery machine, high-end application, give your customers a price point option to give them when they're on a budget to get the same type of quality look, all through just ordering through Stahls. You can go on Stahls to order this. Again, just stahls.com. And if you would like more information and would like to sign up to receive a free sample, who doesn't like free samples? You can go to m.stahls.com/SimStitch. And you can fill out the application there to get your all the information you need about this. There's so much more online than what I've even expressed to you here today available for this, and to get your free SimStitch sample. So that's it for today. I hope this has been beneficial to you. We look forward to seeing you again next time. So have a great day.